You know how I've always said and keep on saying that Trumplicans have sold out to the left? That Donald Trump, whether he knows it or not, is a Democrat plant? That everything about Trump mania is left-wingnut-esque? It has all the traits, all the telltale markers of being liberal, Democrat, etc.? Well, here's another, the biggest one yet. See, I told you so. Here's the first headline. Joe Cunningham at Red State yesterday. Breitbart News worked alongside leftist extremists to attack conservatives. Trump propaganda front Breitbart News, aka Trump Pravda, and Ben Shapiro's never to be forgotten rechristening, has never been shy about who they've been rooting for this election cycle. However, their credibility as a conservative news source took yet another hit last night with a report put out by Politico on just with whom they closely work to keep real conservatives from making any headway in any election race on the ballot. Here's the quote. Aaron Black, an associate with Democracy Partners and a former Occupy Wall Street communizer, worked with the pro-Trump site Breitbart, tipping them off about his stunts, exchanging raw video and coordinating coverage, according to a source with direct knowledge of the situation. According to the source, Black coordinated with Breitbart via email, phone, and in person, including when he dressed up as a robot and trolled Marco Rubio's events. The relationship was described as very friendly. Remember what French people did to French collaborators after the Second World War? Yeah. An article subsequently published on Breitbart featured video footage of a physical confrontation between Black and Rubio's New Hampshire campaign chairman. He worked directly with Breitbart's political team on the ground in the primary states to sabotage Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz and elect Trump as nominee of the Republican Party, the source told Politico. Black was coordinating with Breitbart's top staff to rabble-rouse against Rubio at rallies. This is the company that Trump supporters are keeping. Occupy Wall Street communizers. Yeah. You aware of that, Doug? I'd like to think not, but then you would have no excuse for not being aware of it or being generally aware that, yeah, that is possible. I better not join these people. This really shouldn't be all that surprising when you think about it. How do you help a liberal beat conservatives to win the Republican primary? You work with and coordinate with other liberals to do so. The so-called conservative website that was once a place where media bias and liberal hypocrisy were regularly called out has become a place of propaganda and outright cheering of a lifelong Democrat at the expense of real conservatives and Republicans. While these actions are nothing short of infuriating, they are simply to be expected from Bannon's Breitbart. It's not a place where actual conservative values are cherished anymore. It has become assimilated into the collective.
I am Locutus of Borg. Resistance is futile. Your life, as it has been, is over. From this time forward, you will service us.
Any semblance of conservative ideology went out the window when they openly promoted and ran favorable coverage of a long-time Hillary Clinton donor. It's no surprise, but it is a disgrace to the man whose name is still plastered on the site, and which is being profaned on a daily basis. Now, Puerto Rico has dug into this a little bit deeper this morning at Red State. And, you know, the dirty Democrat tricksters exposed by James O'Keefe in his latest series of videos, Project Veritas. Well, they may be tied to Donald Trump's campaign. That's right. Now, as Joe Cunningham already reported, I just shared it with you, Politico has a story that, if true, is nothing short of astounding, although when you really reflect upon it, it really shouldn't be all that surprising. That Breitbart.com conspired with a rabble-rousing leftist, made famous in James O'Keefe's recent videos, to sabotage the campaigns of Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz. Here we take a more in-depth look at the allegations and the publicly available evidence to support them. The upshot is that in addition to Hades Gold's anonymous source, ample publicly available evidence ties in Breitbart.com to Democrat dirty trickster Aaron Black. Gold's piece cites this evidence, but a close analysis of that evidence tends to strongly corroborate the inference that Breitbart.com's Matt Boyle coordinated with the Democrat operative Black. And since Steve Bannon was in charge of Breitbart.com at the time and is now a top official in Donald Trump's campaign, this means that the O'Keefe videos may be a problem, not just for Hillary's campaign, but for Donald Trump's as well. Seems rather appropriate, actually. Kind of a blue plate special. 2 Democrat presidential candidates for the price of 1. Just one of them has an R after his name. Now remember about James O'Keefe's latest video showing how the DNC tried to provoke violence at Trump rallies? Remember the fellow named Aaron Black? He's the leftist who bragged about being behind spontaneous, quote-unquote, protests that DNC officials hoped would result in Trump supporters attacking them. Why? But parenthetically, why did they think that there was a good chance of that happening? Maybe because there's something to it? Here's one of Black's quotes. Quote, "None of this is supposed to come back to us because we want it coming from people. We don't want it coming from the party. So if we do a protest and it's branded, oh, the DNC protest, right away the press is going to say partisan." Close quote. Now, Black also posted in the O'Keefe video about being one of the people behind the shutdown of a Trump rally in Chicago. You know, the one last March, everybody saw that, where Trump's mob was overwhelmed by a bigger left-wing mob. Kind of like the National Socialists and the commies in early 1930s Germany, which erupted in violence, apparently incited by Black and his fellow dark hat operatives, resulting in 2 police officers being injured. So now you remember who Aaron Black is, right? Good. The allegation of the Politico article is that this same Aaron Black coordinated with Breitbart.com, aka Trump Pravda, and evidently Matthew Boyle in particular, to publicize the same sort of tactics when they were used against Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz. Collaboration with the left? Anybody? You know, the liberals outside of the GOP and the liberals inside of the GOP. Resuming the Politico quote, a liberal extremist and communizer coordinated with reporters from the conservative Trump propaganda site Breitbart during the primaries to cover his disruptions of events for candidates such as Senator Marco Rubio. Aaron Black, an associate with Democracy Partners and a former Occupy Wall Street communizer, worked with the pro-Trump site Breitbart, tipping them off about his stunts, exchanging raw video, and coordinating coverage, according to a source with direct knowledge of the situation. Parenthetically, why did he think that that was a good idea? Because he knew that Breitbart.com is run by liberals. And then a liberal was taking over the Republican Party. Black has resurfaced recently as one of the people featured in undercover video for the Project Veritas group. In the video, he claims to work for the DNC. Though he does not appear on their payroll, his bio at Democracy Partners credits him with working closely with the Democrat National Committee during the 2012 election cycle. Black in the video says he helped organize violent protests in Chicago that led to Trump's cancellation of a rally there in March. According to the source, Black coordinated with Breitbart, Trump Pravda, via email, phone, and in person, including when he dressed up as a robot and trolled Marco Rubio's events. The relationship was described as very friendly. An article subsequently published on Breitbart featured video footage of a physical confrontation between Black and Rubio's New Hampshire campaign chairman. He worked directly with Breitbart's political team on the ground in the primary states to sabotage Rubio and Cruz and elect Trump as nominee of the Republican Party. The source told Politico, Black was coordinating with Breitbart's top staff to rabble-rouse against Rubio at rallies. Close quote. Now, let's do some analysis here. First, let's confess our biases. I have learned as a blogger that when a story sounds too good to be true, when it confirms all your long-held suspicions, everything that you just knew was true all along, and thus causes you to run to the keyboard in a rage, that's when you need to be at your most skeptical. And this story does confirm my biases. And I hate to say this because I knew and liked Andrew Breitbart, Paterico writes, and I consider Breitbart.com to be a sewer, a hotbed of the sort of Trumplicans who prize combat and winning over any sense of morality and ethics. They seem like perfect partners for the sort of scum we have learned Aaron Black to be. And when they have a common enemy, Marco Rubio, Ted Cruz, any conservative Republican, it stands to reason that they might want to work together. It's perfect! And ding, 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 go the alarm bells. I'm not saying it's too perfect to be true. It actually all sounds very plausible. But when I read this story, a voice in the back of my head told me to tone down the outrage until we knew more. Brandon Darby denies it. They cited a source. It isn't true. And he's right. This is all according to a source, an anonymous source. But here's the thing. Even just based on the publicly available information, it is clear that Breitbart.com's Matthew Boyle had ties to Aaron Black. As the Politico piece notes, Black was interviewed by Boyle on Boyle's radio show on April 16th of this year. The Post announcing this interview touted Black's unique willingness to engage with a non-friendly audience. In that interview, around the 4:45 mark or so, Black touts the similarities between Bernie Sanders and Donald Trump. Birds of a feather, folks. talking about how they're not being bought and paid for by corporate interests. Like corporate interests are bad and Trump and Sanders were good? Trump is a corporate interest, you... He waxes on about the synergy between Trump's and Sanders' campaigns. If I slap my desktop as hard as I was going to, I might bring down the Jasmius can. So just trying to rein it in. Now, from the O'Keefe videos, we know that Black was trying to disrupt Trump events. He's not a fan of Donald Trump. So why is he talking up Trump on a Breitbart.com radio show? Well, the answer obviously lies in Hillary Clinton's by now well-publicized and obviously correct calculation that Donald Trump would be the easiest candidate to beat. And you didn't have to be clairvoyant to figure this out 16, 17 months ago. So, if you're a Hillary operative, you talk up Trump. And you attack the real GOP candidates. And that's what Black did on Boyle's show. Which is a nice segue to what is perhaps a more important question. How did Matthew Boyle and Aaron Black get so cozy? Some answers lie in a February 9th, 2016 post written by Boyle about an anti-Rubio protester dressed like a robot at a Rubio event. The gist of the post was that this innocent protester was just there at the rally exercising his First Amendment rights when the awful Rubio campaign guy came up and attacked Robot Guy, putting him in a headlock and being violent with him the way those awful Rubio types do. Now stay with me for just a moment. This is all about to make sense, I promise. Boyle's piece mocks the Rubio campaign guy's defense that Robot Guy attacked him first. You know how the ref always sees the retaliation and never sees the provocation? Quote, "He was pushing me, almost pushed me over. I'm 76 years old. And he went right against me and pushed me almost to the ground," Hearst, the Rubio campaign guys, said. When asked if it was the protester who started it, Hearst said, "Yeah, of course it was." Video, talk about, parenthetically, the psychological projection here is at such a level as to make my back teeth hurt. Oh yeah, those violence-prone Rubio people. Yeah, right. Video, which is making its way around the internet on YouTube, shows Hearst, who hasn't been publicly identified before now, with his arms around the protester's neck. Close quote. Wow. Matt Boyle was able to be the guy who identified the attacker, quote unquote. Well, gee, how did he get that information, do you think? The answer is related to the fact that Boyle was also able to exclusively identify Robot Guy as Aaron Black. Ding, 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 ding. Hearst, the Rubio campaign guy, wearing a green jacket, grabbed the protester in a headlock and pulled him away from Senator Rubio. "Why do you have your hands on me?" said the protester, whom Breitbart News can also reveal for the first time as a progressive political extremist. Aaron Black said to Hearst as Hearst manhandled him. Well, how about that? Shazam! Surprise, surprise, surprise! Yeah, it was because when you're attacked like that, he just attacked me, Hearst said. When asked to explain why he engaged in a physical altercation with the robot-costumed Black, "We were right crowded together and he almost knocked me down." In a separate exclusive interview with Breitbart News, Black said that the video proves Hearst's account of events isn't accurate. Close quote. Add it up, folks. Boyle gets an exclusive interview with Black. Boyle is able to exclusively identify Black. How did this happen? Reasonable conclusion based on the facts. Boyle coordinated with Black. It was a setup, in other words. And how did Boyle know the attacker, quote unquote, in the green jacket was a Rubio campaign official? Well, reasonable conclusion based on the facts. Black knew who Hearst was and targeted him from the get-go. And then when it was all done, Black told Boyle who had attacked him, quote unquote. Black discusses a video which supposedly shows Hearst lying and Black, the leftist rabble-rouser, telling the truth. All I know is I felt hands around my neck, or something that felt like hands, Black Bart told Black Bart. How appropriate, huh? Black told Breitbart News. Black added that the video proves Hearst's claim that he started it isn't true. No, the video doesn't lie. The video didn't capture the whole incident. It only captured the retaliation. It's all on the video. No, it's not all on the video. Black said when asked to respond to Hearst's comments to Breitbart News, it was not provoked at all, which wasn't captured on video. I was just trying to express my opinion, and that's why we have a First Amendment, right? We should all be able to express our opinion. That doesn't this doesn't have to get physical like that. That's insane, close quote. Yeah, that's insane, all right. Now watch the video, knowing what you know about Aaron Black. Black is the guy in the robot suit with the light gray head covering. Hearst, the Rubio campaign official, is in a green jacket to the left of Black at the beginning of the video, getting shoved by Black. Black, remember, is a paid Democrat partisan who attends rallies for the express purpose of trying to incite violence on the part of his political enemies. Black clearly knows who Hearst is and is targeting these, again, 76-year-old Hearst. If you watch closely, you can see Black trying to push Hearst off balance at the very beginning of the video, and Hearst in the green jacket almost losing his footing about 4 to 5 seconds in. You have to watch the beginning few seconds of the video several times to see this, but it's there. In other words, that is the full context of what follows after that. Give it a look.
Why do you have your hands on me? Look at all these cameras. Look at all these cameras.
On Twitter, I asked Darby, whom I like and consider to be a good guy, what was wrong about the Politico piece. As of this writing, his only response was to tweet, and I quote, "Getting info from a source or openly and publicly interviewing someone isn't coordinating disruptions." Close quote. Okay, but I don't think Boyle sent Black to do the disruptions, but the article alleges that Black engaged in actions like tipping Breitbart off about his stunts, exchanging raw video, and coordinating coverage. It's a milder charge, but it's still a serious one. Now consider that Breitbart.com editor Alex Marlow does not exactly deny any of this in his statement to Politico. Quote, Aaron Black reached out to Breitbart, and then we covered this and multiple other stories on our website and on our radio show on Sirius XM Patriot Channel 125. Breitbart's editor-in-chief, Alex Marlow, told Politico in a statement. Breitbart New Network is proud to work with sources from across the political spectrum. How convenient. How diverse. To cover important and breaking news stories so that we may bring the most informative reporting to our readers with the leftist of left-wingnut slants. This type of reporting proves why Breitbart continues to have amazing growth worth over 200 million monthly page views and 36 million monthly unique visitors, and it did. I can't see me patting my own back here, polishing the halo. In addition, this month we launched an online store and radio show with Major League superstar Curt Schilling. Well, half that statement was a marketing distraction, is all that was. So, but the point is, it's not exactly a denial. And an update to the Politico story indicates that, quote, Democracy Partners denied that Black worked directly with the Breitbart team. I guess it depends on what the meaning of directly is. But Democracy Partners all but acknowledges that they told Breitbart and others about their appearances in advance, and Breitbart.com giddily covered the protests when directed at a Trump opponent. Black, Democracy Partners said, disseminated information about the whereabouts of demonstrations and rapid response events to media outlets. The coalition demonstrated against all 17 of the Republican candidates. 16 Republicans and Trump. The statement continued, we engaged the media from across the political spectrum. When we organized events aimed at a Trump opponent, Breitbart was more than happy to spread the word. Well, of course they were. I don't think the allegation is that Breitbart or Boyle sent Black to these demonstrations. It's that they not only strongly touted the antics of a leftist dirty tricks operative, but coordinated with that operative and developed a close relationship with him for the purpose of helping destroy real Republican, real conservative candidates that Breitbart and the Democrats wanted destroyed. Collaboration is selling us out. Now, here's the part that may actually get some traction in the media. Guess who was in charge of Breitbart.com when Boyle published his piece? That's right. One Steve Bannon, now CEO of the Donald Trump presidential campaign. Such as it is. So in a way, when James O'Keefe alleged that this Democrat campaign of phony protests and inciting violence was tied to a presidential candidate, he may have been understating things. Because there seem to be ties between these DNC operatives and Hillary Clinton, to be sure. But with Steve Bannon now in a high-level position in Trump's campaign, there may be ties between these DNC operatives and a high-level Trump campaign official as well, which is only fitting since we have two Democrats running for president. Now, I want to conduct a little hypothetical thought experiment with you. Imagine that you watch these O'Keefe videos and you see Black, Koval, Creamer, et al. Bragging about their contrived and scripted protests and their efforts to goad Trumplicans into violence, which is all too easy to do. Fight, fight, fight! Then you learn that CNN had actually worked with these folks and been tipped off when Black and Company went to do a phony protest. CNN filmed it. A CNN correspondent mocked the elderly guy who was defending himself, and then CNN had the dirty trickster on an interview show afterwards. And then it came out that the president of cable news network, this is CNN, became the CEO of Hillary Clinton's presidential campaign. What would be your reaction, Trumplicans? Oh, forget calling for a boycott of CNN. Forget calling for the heads of Hillary's campaign CEO and Hillary herself. You would be firebombing Hillary Clinton's campaign offices. And every last one of you damn well knows it. You know you would. So how is this any different? And I will tell you the only way in which it is different. Breitbart doing it helped Trump. That's it. Chapter and verse, worlds without end, hallelujah, amen. It helped Trump. In other words, tribalism. It's okay if your people do it. You people can do it. Your media outlets can do it. But God forbid the other side does it. Only then is it bad. But if it's your guy, it's good. You people don't stand for jack shit except your pagan, idolatrous worship, cultish worship of Donald J. Trump. That's why Trump supporters actively disgust me. I loathe them with every fiber of my being because they have become the enemy. They have become indistinguishable from the left. You have two Democrat personality cults, La Clinton Nostra and Trump Mania. Cut from the same cloth, identical to each other, two sides of the same coin. And they've taken over the Republican Party. They have shattered the conservative movement. The right, the true right, has no place left to go. We are no longer in the wilderness. We are no longer on this planet for all intents and purposes. So again, skepticism is the watchword of the day. But if even half the stuff in the Politico article turns out to be true, and there is plenty to suggest that it is, well, then there should be hell for Trumplicans to pay. Patarico went to sleep listening to an interview with Breitbart's Lee Strahanan, whatever, did with Dustin Stockton, another Breitbart reporter who used Aaron Black as a source. The interview just corroborated the earlier conclusions. First, Breitbart is denying that they told Black what to do, and for the record, I'm willing to take that at face value and never alleged otherwise. But Stockton confirmed that he, Matt Boyle, and according to him, several other Breitbart reporters regularly used Aaron Black as a source for all kinds of stories. All kinds of stories! God, why don't you just put Aaron Black on your bleeping masthead and be done with it? Why don't you rename Breitbart Black Bart? I knew that would come back in handy before this video is over. Blackbart.com. No, they never do that because they want to continue to profane Andrew Breitbart's name. Stockton claimed that this occurred for blacks' protests at Trump rallies as well as at other no. At Trump rallies as well as at GOP candidates' rallies. Crucially, however, nowhere did Stockton or Stranahan, okay, he just misspelled it, deny what I took to be the key specific allegations of Gold's piece, that Black engaged in actions like tipping Breitbart off about his stunts, exchanging raw video, and coordinating coverage. In fact, they admitted that Black tipped them off about his upcoming protests, and it seems reasonable to conclude that they coordinated coverage in the sense of making sure that they were in the right place at the right time. They were used by the left, by the Democrats, willingly and purposefully. Collaboration. As an example, it does not appear to be an accident that Breitbart was there when Black was shoving a Rubio campaign official and inducing the official to engage in a physical altercation. They did not address whether they exchanged raw video as alleged by Gold's source. Stranahan and Stockton seemed to treat all this as a simple matter of using a source and cackled. Stranahan literally described his own laugh in the interview as a cackle at those criticizing Breitbart.com, saying they were hating the player. Typical Trumplican, blaming everybody but themselves and excusing despicable actions that they would never excuse for anybody else when they're doing it because it serves their orange-hued God. You know, because when Breitbart was busy spinning the actions of a Democrat operative as an innocent victim of a Rubio campaign official, they got a lot of clicks! And it helped Trump. You know that Booker T catchphrase from over a decade ago in World Wrestling Entertainment, right? Don't hate the player! Hate the game! And if you have a problem with any of this, well, then you're just jealous. Or we still have our principles and expect people who call themselves conservatives to live up to them. A foreign concept to any and all Trump supporters.